Today is time for another one of those 2-in-1 videos, and it's all wrapped around this box. What's up everybody, it's PJ the Great. I hope you're having a super beautiful day. And if you're new here, I do videos just like this as well as ADHD tips. So if that sounds like your jam, consider subscribing. And to all my returning subscribers, what's up great ones? Welcome back. Hi. Alright, so today I have a computer case to review. I never reviewed a computer case before. This is the Gemini M Silver from Cougar, and I decided to pick this up because I thought it was a pretty cool looking case and the price couldn't be beat. I think I picked this up for like $59 on Amazon.com. I'll leave a link in the description down below. And no, this video is not sponsored by Cougar nor Amazon, and my link isn't even affiliated because I was in the program before in the past, but I got kicked out because no one was using the links. But if you want to use the links, they're down there. Alright, so this is a 2-in-1 video. I'll get into that in a minute, but first let's go ahead and get this case out of the box and see what we're working with. And voila la, there is the case itself and the reveal. Oh, there's the case in all its nakedness. All right, let's take a look around. We got the front here. This is the first thing that caught my eye. It's got like the RGB going on the front here, which we'll see once we get to building in this. This is a micro ATX case. So we got your RGB goodness going on there. It has a button on the top, I believe. Yes. So instead of a reset button, it has a button on the top there to control the RGB goodness, or you can hook it up to your motherboard. And we have microphone jack, headphone jack, USB 2.0, USB 3.0, and your power button. And it does have a glass tinted see-through side panel there, so you get a good view of all of your components. Now I did read somewhere where it said to lay this thing down on, you know, like on its back, kind of like that, before you take the side panel off, because there's really nothing gripping these on. However, my Monster 2 case that I'm using for a baby blue is just like this. I don't lay it down to take the glass panel off. I'm just really careful when I take the glass panel off. And I got a little plastic on both sides of it, so let's put this in a safe spot. Put it in the box. Okay, if you can see right here on the inside, and I'll do some B-roll of course to give you a closer tour. I like how it has two little SSD bays right here in the front of the case, so you can put your two SSDs in there. And I actually have two SSDs that I'm going to be putting into this build, so that works out perfectly. It's got a little window right here so you can see your power supply. I kind of hate that. I don't know why people do that. I prefer to have this covered. I don't know anybody who wants to like just gaze at their power supply. Our power supply is that pretty that you want to look at them. And this case does support two 120 millimeter fans in the front, or 140 millimeter, two of those fans. I have one 140 millimeter that I'm gonna put in here, and then one 120 that I'm gonna put in here as well. I thought I had two 140s, I can't find the other one, so, but it does come with the 120 in the back here. I'm actually gonna move that to the front because I got a blue LED Ego fan that I keep saying in all my past videos, oh, I'm gonna use this fan, and then when you see the final build, I didn't use it. I'm using it this time, and it's going right back here. All right, so let's take off the rear panel and see how good a cable management we get in this little bad boy. All right, so cable management in the back looks like it's going to be pretty decent. You can see right here we got all of our cables right here for our USB 3.0 front jack. We have a, looks like a RGB goodness in the front where you can attach this to your motherboard if you want. I'm not gonna do that. And here's the SATA power for the RGB lighting in the front, and all your rest of the cables you can expect to find. And then right down here you have room for two hard drives, which is perfect because I have two hard drives I'm going to be throwing in here. It's very light too, as you can tell. And in the bottom HDD case, you just clamp on it to pull the bays out. And here you have your accessory box. And then here we should have all of our screws. Yep, we have all of our screws that we need, like screws, probably some, yep, extra motherboard standoffs. And it looks like they even give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tweezers. And we got an instruction manual. How easy is this going to be to build in? It seems like a pretty sturdy case. I think it's going to be fairly easy to build in this. I'm actually excited to get building in this. But what am I going to build in this? Well, oh, yes, I am ditching the sleeper look again. My Hackintosh. I am going to move my Hackintosh over to this new case. And yeah, I mean, I like the sleeper look. I really do. But once again, I can't keep myself off of Amazon. Ran into this case and I was like, oh my God, I like this case. What can I build in it? And so I said, put your Hackintosh in it. So short-lived as it was for the second time, the Hackintosh is being moved to the new case, and this will be empty and saved for a future build. Did I do that?
Did I do that?
I just noticed a bunch of dents and scratches on the side. This is my 2010 Mac Pro, by the way. This is what my Hackintosh replaced. It's all scuffed up and scratched on the side. I don't remember that when I purchased it like 2 years ago, but it was in fair condition when I bought it. The reason why I have this on the table is because since that Gemini case has a glass see-through panel, I am going to take this Sapphire Plus RX 570 8GB out of the Mac Pro since it has a back plate and my MSI Armor does not. This will look better, so I'm doing a little switcheroo, so that's why this is on the table. Okay, so enough talking about the transition. Let's get to disassembling all of these and then reassembling it in the new Gemini case. Let's go.
All of the snow in this winterland used to look so pretty, now making me moody. muddy woods, alone with my feels. Spent too much time thinking, in the end you would be with me. Maybe I'm just getting it now. Damn, I took a little time out. Demons really catching up. I mean, what if there's no meaning? No, my heart is slowly bleeding. You said we still got today. Trust me that right now is all that matters. No, nothing lasts forever. Is this just a winter stage? I'm so bitch. Not getting over it. Try to succeed with the stuff I do. Melodies and rhythm, like paying the bills with them.
All right, as you can see right there behind me, the build is done, and now it's time to recap this video and tell you what it was like to build in this Cougar case. Okay, the first thing I have to say about this case is it's fire. I really like this case. I mean, it really looks good, and I love the fact that you can change the LEDs in the front, the RGBs, to like 14 different colors just by the press of a button right on the top of the case. You can also control it with the motherboard, but I chose not to do so because I am running a Hackintosh within this case. I like it. I like it a lot. And I got the silver version, you know, to try and stay within that Apple ecosystem and make it look, you know, like an Apple machine, but with a little bling. And I really like it. I mean, it's really cool. But how was it to build in? I will say that it was a pita. It was definitely a pita building in this. I mean, I think the only major problem that I had with building in it is when I got ready to put in the power supply, I noticed that the hard drive cage for the traditional 3.5 inch HDDs, it was way too close for me to get my power supply in. But thankfully they had some screws at the bottom where you could just remove that and move it over as you see fit. I had to move it all the way over in order to get the cables on my PSU in there and get everything organized. So that was a major pita, but still I was able to get around it. Just added a little bit of time to my build, which I really didn't like. The other issue that I can see with building in this Cougar case is the hard drives. I mean, like, you have two SSDs that you can mount that you can see from the side panel, kind of like in the front, I would say. And then you have your two HDDs that you can do in the back. Now, on the description of this case, it doesn't say that you can have two SSDs mounted in the front or two HDDs mounted in the back. It says two SSDs, two HDDs. I've occupied all spots, and I'm going to tell you right now, it is going to be difficult if you're going to be doing something like that. Well, I consider myself like an anomaly because, like, I'm kind of a storage hoarder because I have two SSDs in here and I have two HDDs. Like, one SSD is the OS, one is my scratch disk for video editing. One hard drive is for like all my files and folders, and another HDD is for time machine backups. And you're gonna run into an issue with cables and power supply to all of these, because I had to run my SATA cables, which is like, I can power up 4 with this cable, but I can only use 3 of them because of how close they are. That's a PSU problem. That's not really a case problem. But I had to run those through the front to power up the 2 SSDs, lost the access to one of them, and then the last one I used to power up the LED. Then I had to bust out my Molex And thankfully I had 2 Molex to SATA adapters on hand, and I had to bust out the Molex in order to get power to the 2 HDDs. That was a problem, but I was able to get around it, so it's not really that bad. I would consider like the average user who is going to think about picking up this case, they're not going to run into issues like that, because I think an average user would just probably have 1 SSD, or they might have 1 SSD and 1 hard drive, or they might even occupy the NVMe slots, which I wish I would have, but I didn't. So at the end of the day, do I recommend this case? Yes, I would recommend it for the average user, but like if you're a person that's going to be using a lot of hard drives, then I recommend it, but just be prepared to put in a lot of work in order to get all of your hard drives and SSDs connected. Outside of that, it was a breeze to build in. It was super easy. And you know, like I'm super meticulous when I do my cable management, so that took up some time as well. But for 60 bucks, I would say that this is a steal. I mean, this is a good looking case with some nice RGB on it. And now my Hackintosh has a little bling, and I'm not gonna argue about that. Hey, if you guys and gals like this video, do me a favor and give it a big old thumbs up. But if you hated it, you can give it a thumbs down. But no matter what you do, don't forget to click that subscribe button and click that bell right next to it, so you'll be notified every time I upload new videos. And speaking of this Hackintosh, I think I owe you guys and gals a video to let you know how it compares to my 2010 Mac Pro and if I'm still loving it. Spoiler alert, I built this thing so I can get better performance out of Final Cut Pro 10 for more complex projects. Come to find out that I think I'm better at DaVinci Resolve Studio 16 to the point where I can handle complex projects on that better than I can Final Cut Pro 10. But that's a video to look out for. Until I see you in the next video, this is PJ the Great saying Audi 5000G. That's a cool little case. I like it. Got the little bling bling in there, but man, what a pain to build in.
Maybe I'm just getting in.